So good morning. Let us start the lecture. Uh, Hope today it will go smooth. Optical fiber communication DET 3202. Course outcome: the students will be able to understand the different communication media, various blocks and applications of the optical fiber communication system. Students will be able to understand optics rules and measure the optical fiber cable parameters. Students will be able to identify suitable optical source for given application. Students will be able to identify suitable detector for the given application. Students will be able to identify suitable connector and measure losses in the optical fiber cable. Students will be able to understand architecture of the optical network for a given application. As we know, we have discussed the 4 units, and quiz of the 3 units were already conducted. Quiz of the 4th unit I have uploaded. If you want, just now I will release immediately after this lecture. If you want, you please message in the comment so that I will check the connectivity also. Should I release the quiz today? Am I audible? Should I release the quiz today, or it is disconnected again? Okay, Manish, question. Is it connected now? Okay, so I will release the first 2-3 quiz of today, then tomorrow, and so on. Okay, Siddesh, thank you. So we have connectors. Two types are there: fiber splicing and demountable connector. Each is having its own advantage, disadvantage, and each is having its own application depending on the situation and requirement. Splices are semi-transparent, permanent and permanent joints, and it is analogs to soldering in the electrical. And demountable fibers are removable joints, and it is analogous to plugs in the electrical. So fiber joints are usually are useful ideally to couple light propagation from one fiber to next fiber, and couplers are for the branching. So there are two types. One is fiber joints, and other are couplers in the connectors. So this also coupling is also of two ways. One can have the light propagation in main fiber into branching into different fibers, coupling of the one light into other many fibers, and from many it can combine into one fiber. So optical fiber permanent joint formed in either factory or on the field. And for splicing, so permanent joint is by splicing, frequently used to establish long haul optical fiber links. To connect one fiber with the another fiber, long fiber can be laid down in the systems. Then splicing is frequently used where there is no requirement of repeated connection disconnection. Wherever there is a requirement of permanent joint, the splicing is used. Splicing is divided into fusion splicing, mechanical splicing, depending on the techniques used. In the fusion splicing, with the help of electrical arc, the fiber ends are fused and connected permanently. In mechanical splicing, some holding clamping mechanism is used to hold the fibers for long time permanently. So there is end preparation and alignment, which is very much essential, that reduces the insertion loss. That is, the quality of the splice is increased. That is, the performance of the splice is increased. In fusion splicing, no large step index is there because it is becoming fused material, becoming continuous material. In mechanical splicing, there is a air gap which is causing the losses, Fresnel losses, that can be avoided by index matching. So filling the index matched fluid in that. So difficulty is there in splicing, as the fiber splicing, especially fusion splicing, can somewhat have difficult process to perform on the field. But nowadays on the field usable equipment, portable splicing machine splicers are available, and those also are very automatic, so that they can have very good quality splicing. So requirement of the splicing is that end faces should be smooth and square. Square means very perpendicular to axis. So if this is the fiber cutting is there, so this is not a square, so this is axis, and the face is not very perpendicular to the axis. Okay, so face is having a slanted fashion. So perpendicular means this one. So this is also not I am able to draw perfect perpendicular, but the face should be perpendicular to the axis. Okay. In general, the end preparation is achieved using the suitable tool, and this is often using the this process of scribe and break and score and break. So this is the process shown, which is having the knife edge, which creates a crack, and crack propagates under the tension on the fiber, so that it will have the end preparation. Fiber is pulled and created end, and cutting tool of sapphire, diamond or tungsten carbide is creating the crack, initiating the crack, and then surface scoring creates the failure and then produces the end face. So fusion splicing is involving the stripped cable, and cabling and buffer coating is removed. Then fiber ends are adequately positioned and aligned to achieve the good continuity in the transmission medium at the junction point, and heating of the prepared end faces to fusing the points and applying sufficient axial pressure between two optical fibers to create the joint. So flame heating is used, in which either gaseous material flame is used or the electrical arc is used. Electrical arc is better because it is very much controllable. So there is a movable block, there is a fixed block in the fusion splicing machine, and there is the electrical arc, and movable block adjusts the gap in between fiber to minimize the gap in between fiber, as well as to adjust the alignment to remove all the linear, that is lateral and longitudinal misalignments and angular misalignments, and for that can be done with the micro positioners, micrometer scales. This is manual machine, which is shown just to understand the working principle, but actually nowadays field machines are also very much automatic. Very small machines are also automatic. So there are 4 steps: initial setting, then arrangement of smooth face pre-fusion. So small heat is applied with the pre-fusion. They are pressed together, and then heat is provided. Arc is having the sufficient heat to melt the fiber, and then immediately that arc is disconnected, so that it will accomplish the splice. So fusion process involves rounding of the face edges, and this is called pre-fusion, which is the unique feature in this. Pre-fusion, this technique of pre-fusion avoids the requirement of end face preparation. This is the distinct advantage. And fusion splicing in single mode fiber, typically a core diameter between 5 to 10 micrometer presents a problem of fiber alignment, but nowadays automated machine is there, and lateral offset less than 1 micrometer are required for low joints. So lateral offset is so accurate, it is adjusted 1 micrometer. However, the splice insertion losses below 0.3 can also be achieved with the self alignment phenomena, and this self alignment is the physics property of the material, that is surface tension. So even though some slight lateral misalignment is there, due to the surface tension, automatically with that surface tension, that is force, the fiber is get aligned. That is called the self alignment phenomena. Self alignment phenomena. Self alignment is caused by the surface tension effect between two fiber ends during the fusing, and mean splice losses of only 0.06 dB have also been obtained with the fully automatic single mode fiber splicing machine. So possible drawback with the fusion splicing is that heat necessary to fuse the fiber may weaken the fiber in the vicinity. Okay, in the closed area, that fiber may be weakened. So fiber fracture generally occurs in the heat affected zone adjacent to the fused fiber. The reduced tensile strength is attributed to combined effect of surface damage, surface defect growing, and introduce the residential stresses due to changes in chemical properties. So due to heating, the handling is also causing the damage. The defect of is grown due to the heating, and the defect is introduced. The residential stresses is introduced due to the changes in the chemical composition. All these are due to the heating process. Therefore, it is necessary to the complete splice is packaged into some mean to reduce the tensile loading upon it. Okay, in the vicinity of the splice is they made and the packaging is there. Now in mechanical splice, accurately produce the rigid alignment is there using the tube, which is into which the preparation fiber ends are permanently bonded, maybe with the epoxy resin. Okay, this bonding is also bonding the epoxy resin is used, and this epoxy resin is also useful in index matching, so that in the mechanical splice whatever the gap in the between the fiber faces is observed, that it can be removed. So for that the snug tube or glass ceramic capillary are used, and these snug tubes are holding it very permanently, because the splices are permanent. So prepared end faces are required, and fibers are placed into V groove, and then the matching material is applied, and clamping is done. So V groove splice is shown here, which is having a V groove on one plate, and other plate is just to force the other first plate, so that both the plates will hold the fiber permanently. So V groove splices formed by the sandwiching the butted fiber ends between V groove glass substrate and flat glass retainer plate. So it is not easy because the field implementation with respect to manufactured fiber geometry, because fiber geometry is and dimensions are very small, and the housing of the splice in order to avoid the additional losses due to the local fiber. So these are the attributes. So V groove splices have proved quite successful by giving very low joint losses, 0.1 dB. A variant on V groove technique is elastic tube or elastomeric tube. This is also V groove technique, but it is a variant. Very similar it is. So elastomeric splice is there, in which elastomeric internal part are held by the external tube, and internal parts are elastic, and one of the two parts is having V groove. So there are two parts which are held by the external tube, and one part is a flat part and other part is having the V groove, so that this V groove will hold these fibers in very aligned fashion. So there are two parts, this is one, this is second, and this is tube, this is external tube. So external tubes holds for the two parts, ferrules internal, and one of the ferrule is having V groove. So this is the elastomeric splice. So outer sleeve holds two elastic parts and compression to ensure the alignment, and fiber in the V groove. Fibers with different diameters tend to be centered, and this is successfully spliced. So elastomeric has splice loss for elastic tube device originally reported 0.12 and generally 0.25 for commercial product, and in addition the index matching gel is normally employed with the device to improve the performance, to reduce the loss. Then in connector, demountable fiber connectors are more difficult to achieve as compared to splices, because they must maintain the similar tolerance even though they are frequently uh, coupling light coupling between the fibers, but they must accomplish in the removable fashion. The connector design must allow for repeated connection disconnection, and they must maintain the fiber alignment without the problem of fiber alignment. Repeated connection disconnection leads to degradation in the performance of the transmission line at the joint. To operate the satisfactory the demountable connectors, the connectors must be uh, provided reproducible accurately the alignment fibers. So connector should ideally low cost connector fitted relative ease optical links. Then in order to maintain optimum performance, the protecting of the fiber ends from damage in handling and disconnection and connection is to be there. And then the connector should be insensitive to the environmental phases, that is moisture, dust is to be there, and coping with the tensile load of the cable is to be there for having the optimum performance. So these three parameters are addressed in the connectors, and then only the connector will be working satisfactorily for the holding the fibers and the connections. So optical fiber connectors may be considered in the three major areas, which are the fiber termination, which protects and locates the fiber. Okay, so this is we are starting now for today. So optical fiber connectors are considered in three major areas where the connectors are used. So first is the fiber termination. Whenever the fiber termination is there, we have to terminate the fiber which protects and locates the fiber ends. So fiber ends should not be degraded by having the openness at the terminal, so that it will be protected also with the fiber connectors. So connectors are used there. Second, the fiber end alignment to provide the optimum optical coupling. Whenever there is a fiber end is there and the next fiber end is to be connected, then the fiber end alignment is required. In that case, optimum coupling is possible. Then the connectors are used. So first is termination, that terminates the fiber. Thereafter may not be having the connections, and it is the provision that in future that termination may be used for further connections. Okay, so in that case the fiber should not get wear and tear, should not get damaged due to exposing to open moisture and dust. That's why the connector is applied there, so that the fiber end will be protected. So this is the first case or the first area. And second area is end alignment. Two fibers are there. The end alignment is provided to have the optimum optical coupling in between the fibers. And third is the outer shell, which maintains the connection and the fiber alignment, protects the fiber ends from the environment and provides adequate strain to the joint. So whenever there is a fiber connection, the outer shell of the connection maintains the connection, because there is a tension in between the fibers, and that due to tension fiber alignment lateral specifically may be introduced. The fibers may go away from each other. So that will introduce very large loss or maybe disconnection, and for that the outer shell maintains the connection. Okay, keep the fibers very much in close vicinity with each other. So in the micrometric gap, very small gap may be there, but it is maintained. and for that the connector is helping. Connector is for coupling the optimum power, and connector is to holding the fiber, and it is becoming the outer shell is becoming maintenance of the connection, then fiber maintenance of the fiber alignment, and protecting the fiber ends from the environment and provide adequate strain to the joint. So all these four, the outer shell of the connector is doing all these four duties. That is, one is connection, second is alignment, the third is protection of the ends, and fourth is providing adequate strength to the joint so that joint will not break. So this is the optical fiber connectors which is having the major areas where it can be used. Fiber termination is there, then connector is used. Fiber alignment required is there for optimum coupling, fiber to fiber, optimum coupling. Then there is a connectors use, and the outer shell which maintains all these. So there all the connectors are used, fiber to fiber. So outer shell is maintaining fiber alignment. Whenever you want to maintain the connection, whenever you want to maintain the fiber alignment, whenever you want to protect the fiber ends, whenever you want to provide adequate strain to the joint, all these situations we require the connectors. So these are the three major areas where the connectors are required, are having the applications. So optical fiber connectors, cylindrical ferrule connectors is one type of the connector. So 2-3 types of the connector we will check. So this is the mechanical type of the connector, cylindrical ferrule connector. So ferrule is used, material which is used to hold the fiber. So this is the ferrule fiber, and there is outer shell also provided. So this is the cable sheet, that is the cable jacket or the cable protective layer we can say, and here the cable terminated here. Okay, that is outer cable is removed and cable is terminated here. So or it is terminated here. Okay, or if the joint is required cable to cable, one cable is there in this way, another cable is also connected here, and this makes the joint. It connects the optical coupling. So these are the ferrules, these are the retaining spring to hold the connector. These are the spring which is generating the sufficient or suitable force to hold this fiber, so that the connection is maintained, so that the alignment is maintained, and the disconnection is avoided, and also it provides the strength to the joint. These springs are providing the strength by holding this. Then this is the cylindrical alignment sleeve. Okay, and this is the connector shell. It is the connector shell. This connector shell provides the protection, this provides maintain the alignment, this provides the connectivity, this provides the protection against the environmental moisture, dust, and it provides the it provides the protection against the wear and tear, and it also provides the strength to this joint. So this is the connector shell, and these are the optical fibers, optical fiber and its cable sheet. So these are the details of the ferrule connector. So there is a ferrule which is connected. That ferrule is also one is ferrule is having the V groove, another ferrule is having the ferrule is elastic material which holds the fiber with the alignment. Okay. So this is the construction of the cylindrical ferrule connector, or we can call it as a basic ferrule connector. Okay. Structure of basic ferrule connector. So in cylindrical ferrule connectors are basic ferrule connectors. These cylindrical ferrule connectors are basic ferrule connectors. These ferrule connectors are sometimes referred to as a concentric sleeve connector. So these are basic ferrule connector, or these are also referred to as concentric sleeve connector. These cylindrical ferrule connectors are perhaps they have simplest optical fiber connector design. Okay, so that is their special advantage. They are called basic ferrule or they are concentric sleeve ferrule, and they are having simplest optical fiber connection design. So they are very simple in design. The cylindrical ferrule connector structure is there in that two fibers to be connected are permanently bonded with epoxy resin. Okay, so in connector, two connectors are connected and permanently bonded with epoxy resin. Epoxy resin applied to bond the fiber. Epoxy resin avoids the external moisture and protects the fiber ends from external moisture and external dust. It also have the permanent bonding to do not grow the misalignments. It is also have the index matching functioning. Okay, and it is also providing the strength to the fiber to hold together. So two fibers are connected in which the structure is there in which two fibers are connected permanently and bonded with the epoxy resin. Two fibers to be connected are placed in the metal plugs known as ferrules. So ferrules holds this, and ferrules have accurately drilled central hole in which their end faces where the stripped buffer coating is removed fiber is located. The fiber is having buffer coating, so fibers are having the cable coating, and in cable coating there are fibers and steel strings there, and this combination is placed in one cable coating, and each fiber to protect from other fiber wear and tear due to the from other fiber and steel strings. Each fiber is having the buffer coating. So buffer coating removed fiber is located in the ferrule, and two ferrules are placed in alignment sleeve. So alignment sleeve will align the ferrules as well as the fibers using accurately machined component, and ferrules allow fiber ends to be butt jointed together, and ferrules are held in place via the retaining mechanism, which is a spring. The ferrules are held together with the spring, and it is essential that fiber faces should be smooth and square, perpendicular to the fiber. Square means perpendicular to the fiber axis. So these are the main points which are in the ferrule connector structure. In cylindrical ferrule connector structure, in this cylindrical ferrule connector structure, two fibers to be connected are permanently bonded. Two fibers to be connected are placed in the metal plug known as ferrules. Then ferrules have accurately drilled central hole in their end faces where the stripped, that is buffer coating removed fiber is located, and then two ferrules are placed in alignment sleeve. Okay, fiber is placed in ferrules are placed in alignment sleeve using accurately machined component, and then ferrules allow fiber ends to be jointed. Ferrules are held in place via retaining mechanism, which is a spring. Ferrules are held in place via the mechanism, retaining mechanism. Okay, holding mechanism, that is spring. And in this case, essentially the fiber must be end face prepared, which are smooth and square. Okay, because in fused case, end face is not required to prepare because pre-fusion makes it prepared. In mechanical and cases, every time the end faces must be prepared. So one more connector, optical fiber connector. One is the ferrule mechanical connector, and this is optical connector. First connector was mechanical, second is optical, expanded beam connector, where the optical lenses are used. Expanded beam connector. Beam is expanded and the connector or joint connector is using that beam expansion and again focusing principle with the help of lenses. So optical lens are used in that case. This is the schematic illustration of the expanded beam connector showing the principle of operation. What is there in this? This is the principle of operation. Okay, so there are optical fibers which to be joined, which is one fiber is giving the optical output, optical signal or optical power output, and other fiber is coupled with that optical output, and in between these two fibers there are two lenses, optical lenses. These lenses are adjusted and placed in external housing. So this dotted is external housing that holds the lenses and fiber, as well at the same time that aligns the fibers and aligns the lenses, because lenses requires a particular alignment. Lens also requires particular alignment, and lens also requires a particular distance to be maintained, as a lens is having its own focal point and the source or the focusing of the beam is at particular distance of the lens. So it depends on the focal point of the lens. So whenever the parallel rays are falling on the lens, that lens focuses the beam on the focal point. Whenever parallel beams are incident on the lens surface, that lens focuses it on the focal point of the lens. Okay, and whenever there is a source on the focal point of the lens, there is a source on the focal point of the lens, the source is emitting the radiation, optical radiation in all direction, then that source which is emitting on the all direction, which is giving the divergent beam, that beam is falling on the lens surface, and then that lens will convert that divergent beam going away from each other, that is going in all the direction. That divergent beam, divergent means going in all the direction, that is going away from each other. That divergent beam is, this lens is converting that divergent beam into parallel beam. So lens can convert the divergent beam into parallel beam whenever there is a source exactly at focal point, and parallel beam whenever incident on the lens, then parallel beam can be converted into focused beam. So these are the properties which are used here. The one is collimating lens and second is focusing lens. Collimation or collimating of the beam means making the beam parallel. So one is making the beam parallel and second is focusing the beam on focal point where the fiber phase we can adjust, so that that focal point is having the fiber phase, so that the focused optical energy will be into the fiber. So one fiber is emitting the optical energy in all the direction. That optical energy is, optical beam is collected by first lens and that is made parallel beam. That parallel beam is falling on the surface of the next lens, and that next lens can focus the optical light on its focal point, and that focal point the fiber can be arranged so that it can that optical energy on the focal point, which is focused optical energy, can be launched into second fiber. Now one thing is there in this is the distance between two lenses can be adjustable, can be kept with any value. Okay, this can be variable and that will not produce any effect on the performance. It will not introduce any loss. So this distance allows to have the alignment and there is no lateral and longitudinal alignment issues in this. So lateral and longitudinal alignment are stringent requirement of maintaining the fiber laterally and longitudinally. To have the laterally the misalignment removal and to have the longitudinal displacement removal. So this is not at all critical or important in these cases. Okay, so this can be very well understood like this. Suppose we are having the one fiber. Okay, so we are having one fiber, and this fiber is giving the light on the lens. Okay, so this lens is making it parallel. Now second lens is placed. Okay, now if there is slightly misalignment, maybe this fiber is having at its focal point is maybe misaligned, so this is having the alignment like this, but this is having some different alignment. Then slightly angular misalignment is there, then also it will not have any loss because it is collecting all the light. Second lens is collecting all the light and it is focusing on the focal point. Only thing is that the fiber must be aligned exactly at focal point, and as there is a distance in between the lens and fiber, first fiber and lens, second lens and second fiber, so there is not much difficulties in adjusting the positions of each component, the two lenses and two fibers, and they are not required to force pressure against each other to maintain that gap, removal of a gap, etc. Okay, so this is the positive thing in that, and obviously this is the working principle, but this assembly is having the minute small arranging or we can say tuning mechanism where we can slightly move the fibers to adjust the maximum output to make the fiber exactly at focal point, etc. Okay, similarly there is look at the distance in between the fiber. It is so much lateral distance, so even then the lateral misalignment is not there. Why lateral misalignment is not there? Because all the light falling on the this divergent light is collected by the lens. All the light which collected by the lens, because lens dimension is very large. Lens dimension is very large as compared to fiber. Fibers may be in the 10, 20, 100 micrometer, but the lens may be in the few millimeters or maybe hundreds of micrometer, so that it can cover all the radiation and all the radiation will be collected so that there will not be any loss. So this is then making less importance of the critical alignment of the longitudinal and as well as the lateral. So lateral also will not be have any effect. Suppose there is a parallel ray and slightly 10-20 micrometer laterally this lens is displaced in this direction or in this direction, it will cover all the light because it is having the dimension in the 10 times more than these fibers, or 10 to 100 times more. So it can cover very easily all the light and it can focus it on the focal point. Okay, so lateral alignment, longitudinal alignment, or even maybe the angular alignment is not required. So alignment becomes less critical in this. Okay, so alignment issues becomes less critical in the expanded beam connectors, and there is no need of pressing the fibers against each other to reduce the mechanical gap. Obviously the other things are taken care that connector should have the strength against the fiber holding, and connector should be protected against the moisture and wear and tear and dust, etc. So all these are requirements remaining, but the stringent requirement of the alignment can be overcome in using this expanded beam connector. So these are the optical connectors, expanded beam connector. They are expanding the beam and they are making the beam parallel, and then that beam is focused on the focal point to launch into, couple into second fiber. So expanded beam connectors, in which the expanded beam connectors are, how these connectors are? They are alternative to the connection via direct butt joint between the optical fibers. Optical fibers are not directly butt jointed. They are separated away from each other, and this alternative is provided by this connection. So how the expanded beam connectors are? The connector consisting of two lenses for collimating and refocusing the light from one fiber into other fiber. Okay, so how it is? It is collimating the light, that was divergent light is made parallel, that is collimating the light, and collimated light, that is parallel light beam, is again refocused by second lens, okay, to launch into one more fiber, next fiber. How the expanded beams are? The expanded beams are using interposed optics. The expanded beams are using the interposed optics. Okay, one optics is placed, one lens is placed, then next interposed optics is there. So next lens is placed. So using interposed optics to make achievement of lateral alignment much less critical than with butt jointed fiber. So lateral alignment now is not very much critical. Lateral alignment is not very much important. So how the expanded beam is having, expanded beams are having longitudinal separation between two joints. Just now we have seen there is a very large difference separation in between two joints. Halves the of the connector that do not remain to be critical. So the lateral alignment is not remaining now critical. Lateral alignment is not important. It is not remained critical, and longitudinal separation is there, so that the longitudinal alignment is also not critical. So achieving these at the expense of more stringent angular alignment. So there must be very stringent angular alignment. Okay, so if there is a angular displacement, in that case the focal point will be missed. In that case there will be a loss. So there is the misalignment of lateral and longitudinal. They are now not remained the important or critical. So this misalignment is completely not taken care of. Completely they are ignored. Okay, so they are not critical. Even that longitudinal separation is too much large, that regular butt joint is having fraction or 1 or 2 micrometer, 1 micrometer, but it is in the millimeters. Thousands of micrometer separation is there. So longitudinal misalignment is not at all taken care, and it is not introducing any loss also. At the same time, lateral alignment is also not important, but the critical is angular alignment. Okay, it is very stringently maintained in this. So this is in the expanded beam connector. So expanded beam connectors are the alternative connections to the directly butt jointing. This is the alternative to this directly butt joining. And connectors, this expanded beam connector consists of two lenses for collimating and refocusing the light. And these are using interposed optics to make the achievement of the lateral alignment much less critical than with butt jointed fiber connectors. And having the longitudinal separation, there is already longitudinal separation, that longitudinal misalignment also becomes very critical, not very critical. It will not remain the critical. And angular alignment is very stringent in this case. That has to be very critically maintained. So in expanded beam connectors, the expanded beam connectors are useful in where it is useful, where it is applicable. Expanded beam connectors, where they are applicable. Okay. So expanded beam connectors are applicable in multi-fiber connection. Multi-fiber connection for printed circuit board PCB. Okay. Expanded beam connectors are useful in multi-fiber connections. Okay. So there is a ribbon of fiber. There is a ribbon of fibers. Okay. So one fiber, second fiber, third fiber, fourth fiber, fifth fiber, sixth fiber, seventh fiber, 10th fiber, 11th fiber, okay, 64th fiber. So this is a ribbon of fibers. So this is multi-fiber connector, where the connectors also having those many micro lenses. Okay, micro lenses, and in those micro lenses that fiber ribbon is fitted, connected. So in this situation, and where it will be required, this connector will be required on PCB. Okay, so it is required on PCB, printed circuit board. So multi-fiber connection for printed circuit board PCB, there these expanded beam connectors are very much useful. Okay, on printed circuit board there is a multi-fiber connection and multi-fiber connector are there. So this multi-fiber connector to connect with multi-fiber multi-fiber ribbon like fiber connector, that ribbon like fiber structure can be connected with this connector. So multi-fiber connection for printed circuit board, the connectors, expanded beam connectors are required. Then edge connection for printed circuit board. Okay, edge connections. So similarly on the printed circuit board there is a suppose this is a PCB. So as we are having the multi-connector structure here, or multi-connector adapter here, where we can connect this fiber ribbon. Okay. Similarly, there is a edge connector. Okay. So the connector will be there at the edge of the fiber. There also we can have the this fiber ribbon connection. So multi-fiber connection for the PCB is there where the beam connectors are useful, and edge connection for the PCB is there where the expanded beam connectors are useful. The printed circuit board PCB, where the lateral and longitudinal alignments are frequently difficult to achieve. So in the PCB where the lateral and longitudinal alignment are not very difficult to achieve frequently. So in those cases expanded beam connectors are useful, because the printed circuit boards are commonly always handled for the maintenance and for changing the components and for checking and for maintenance and for monitoring, etc. Assembling, disassembling is required continuously over the period of maybe months and to couple of months and couple of years. So always the PCB is, or maybe a PCB fault, we remove the PCB, will introduce a new PCB and so on. There each time the lateral misalignment, longitudinal misalignment, it is very difficult to maintain, and there is a ribbon of the fibers, hundreds of the fibers are there. For each fiber we have to align it properly, so it becomes very great job. Okay, tedious as well as time consuming as well as inefficient. So in those cases the expanded beam connectors are required, where the longitudinal and lateral misalignments are not at all critical. So printed circuit board where lateral and longitudinal alignment are frequently difficult to achieve. Okay, so it is very difficult to achieve in the printed circuit board, where the ribbon of the hundreds of the fibers are simultaneously connected, disconnected, PCB is removed, PCB is again connected, or PCB is handled for the maintenance. Okay, so while handling it is always moving, and along with that PCB maybe fibers are moving, so they are get disturbed each time. And whenever there is PCB is fixed, fibers are again connected to the connector. So this type of the operations are there. So multi-fiber connection in the PCB, edge connection in the PCB, and printed circuit board where the lateral and longitudinal alignments are frequently difficult to achieve. In those situations the beam connectors are very much useful. So this is one of the practical expanded beam connector. Now the lenses are achieved with the micro lenses are achieved with the some polished spherical lenses. So whatever the conventional convex lenses are there, it is not possible in such a miniaturized fashion, because this is in the micrometric scale. So here it is possible to have the polished spherical lenses. Spherical structure is possible for such a small micrometer level, and convex lenses and holding that convex lenses is also difficult, because holding the spherical lenses is easier as compared to convex lenses, because there will not be any misalignments in the lenses itself. So if the convex lenses are there and if they are not very much hold in position, then their focal point will not be maintained. Okay, so for that the micro lenses are spherical lenses, and those spherical lenses having the 1:1 image of the emitting fiber upon the receiving one. Okay, so they are having maybe dimensions of few hundreds of millimeter, as compared to the fiber they are their dimensions are very large, so that they can cover all the light diverging from the one fiber, and they can focus the light on the focal point of itself to launch into other fiber. And as the dimensions are large, the light collimated from one lens is completely covered by light that second lens. So these are the optical fibers. Okay. So these are the micro lenses which are having the anti-reflective coating on it. Okay, anti-reflective coating. Anti-reflective coating. So there is no reflection when there is a optical light which is falling on the lens. Then there is a air medium to the lens, glass medium. So there is no reflective anti-reflective coating is placed, so there is no reflection back from that, so that Fresnel reflection is reduced. And again from this lens to the air there is no Fresnel reflection because of the anti-reflective coating. Similarly here, air to glass, again glass to air, anti-reflective coating protects the loss. Otherwise 1, 2, 3, 4 times the reflections will be there, Fresnel reflections, which will cause very heavy penalty in that case. So anti-reflective coating is placed over the lenses. So this is the expanded beam connector, one of the expanded beam connector. This is lens coupled expanded beam connector, a schematic diagram of connector with two micro lenses making 1:1 image of emitting fiber upon the receiving one. So expanded beam connector are utilized spherical micro lens. They are utilized spherical micro lens for beam expansion and reduction. Okay, the spherical micro lenses are utilized for what? One is for beam expansion and other is for beam reduction. So collimation is there and refocusing is there. So this expanded beam connector exhibits average losses of 1 dB. One expanded beam connector is exhibiting the average loss of 1 dB, and which can be reduced to 0.7 dB with the application of anti-reflective coating. So Fresnel reflection is reduced so that around 0.3 dB, 0.4 dB loss will be reduced. So from 1 dB it can be 0.7 dB with the application of the anti-reflective coating on the lenses. Okay, so and use of graded index fiber of 50 micrometer core diameter. So in case of graded index fiber it is measured. So this is the value for in case of graded index fiber, 50 micrometer core diameter graded index fiber, expanded beam connector is providing 1 dB, and if the anti-reflective coating is placed, it is providing the 0.7 dB. A similar configuration has been used in the single mode fiber connection, in which lenses have 2.2 mm diameter as follows. So what are those? Again with the anti-reflective coating lenses, average losses are about 0.7 dB were observed using single mode fiber, 8 micrometer diameter. So this is the graded index fiber, 50 micrometer, this is 8 micrometer diameter. So 8 micrometer diameter, which is very small single mode fibers, it is very difficult in case of mechanical joints, in case of fusion splicing, mechanical splicing and connectors and all that. It is difficult to maintain the joint in between the so small diameter fibers, but it becomes very advantageous that expanded beam connector can have that joint with very less loss. Okay, 0.7 dB loss. So this is 8 micrometer because it is single fiber, single mode fiber. Okay. Furthermore, a successful single mode fiber connections has been achieved with a much smaller, that is 250 micrometer diameter lens, sapphire lens also. So this is 2.5 millimeter. Okay, so 2.5 millimeter means 2500 micrometer, 2500 micrometer, but it is 250 micrometer, 10 times smaller. Diameter is also there. That is also successfully used, which is the sapphire material lens, which is again the ball lens, that is spherical lens. And expanded beam design is having the following details. In this case, the losses range from 0.4 to 0.7 and over the 1000 connections. Okay, maybe ribbons or like that. The losses are 0.4 to 0.7 dB. So expanded beam connector uses the spherical micro lenses for the beam expansion and reduction, and it exhibits the average loss of 1 dB and exhibits average loss of 0.7 dB with the application of the anti-reflective coating on the lenses, and use the graded index fiber of 50 micrometer. So 50 micrometer is that way large diameter. And if in single mode case the diameters are small, they uses the 2.5 mm diameter lens with anti-reflective coating. The average loss is again 0.7 dB is observed. In case of single mode, the diameter of the fiber is 0.8 micrometer, small diameter as compared to the first one, that is 50 micrometer. So it is 8 micrometer diameter. Furthermore, this 2.55 millimeter lens can be reduced to 250 micrometer lens with the sapphire material, and in that case the losses also range from 0.4 to 0.7 dB with thousands of the connections. So expanded beam connector is very useful in case of the fibers, single mode fibers, because single mode fibers are normally having very small diameter. 10 diameter or less than 10 diameter, 10 micrometer or less than 10 micrometer, isn't it? So multimode fiber is a couple of hundred of micrometers, that is 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 micrometer. So they are very large diameter as compared to the single mode fibers, isn't it? So expanded beam connector, one structure we are seeing where the two different lenses are used. Okay, two different lenses are used, and one more structure is there. The only one lens is used, joint lens is used, just like the concave configuration. Okay, as you see in this figure, the concave configuration is there. Instead of two different lenses separated from each other, only single lens is used. Okay, and that single lens is having the lens alignment sleeve. So this is the lens alignment sleeve, and this lens alignment sleeve is having some alignment mechanism like micro screwing, etc. And in using that, we can move the lens in the micrometer scale very slightly, and we can adjust its focal points on either side. Okay, and there is a ferrule for connection, there are springs and grommet for making that connector firmly holding the fibers. There is a spring, there is a grommet. That assembly is firmly holding the fibers, and that assembly is firmly holding the lens alignment sleeve and the lens also, so that all these one fiber end, second fiber end and lens distances are properly adjusted, can be properly adjusted, so that focal point on one side and focal point on the other side can be made perfectly aligned, so that from one focal point rays can be made collimated inside the lens, and from inside the lens, whenever the rays are emitted, they again are refocused. So only one lens is used. So that lens collects the optical radiations from one fiber, make it collimated inside the lens, and again refocus whenever it radiates outside. So refocusing is there at the focal point of the lens, and there exactly the second fiber can be adjusted with the alignment mechanism. Okay, so this expanded beam connector is using single lens. So this is a lens coupled expanded beam connector, molded plastic lens connector assembly. It is molded plastic lens connector assembly. So its manufacturing of this lens assembly is very accurately processed. So it is very accurately processed. Manufacturing is there, so it is having the accuracy, so that these focal points etc. are maintained. And again the lens alignment sleeve is provided to arrange, to adjust, to align while this expanded beam is connected into the system. Okay, so these are the details of the expanded beam connectors. The expanded beam connector, which employs a molded spherical lens, in which this is the molded spherical lens. Only single lens is there, molded lens, which is in place of the two lenses. Here the fiber is positioned approximately at focal length. Okay, fibers are positioned approximately at focal length of the lens to obtain a collimated beam that minimizes the lens to lens longitudinal misalignment effect. Again, in between the lens there may be longitudinal misalignment, that is avoided because lens is single lens. And then a lens alignment sleeve is used to minimize the effect of angular misalignment. That sleeve can be adjusted with minutely micrometric scale. That effect of angular misalignment can be adjusted, corrected, and together with there is a ferrule, grommet and spring is there, that external housing is there, and that provides the complete connector structure. So there is a single lens, there is a alignment sleeve, lens alignment sleeve that can be adjusting the angular misalignment, removing the angular misalignment, and there is a ferrule, there is a grommet, there is a spring, there is external housing. This provides the complete connector structure. Then repeatability of this can be therefore lens design was found to be good, incurring the lenses of around 0.7 dB. So repeatability of this structure is there. So there is a repeatability. So this makes the design makes found good in incurring loss of around 0.7 dB. There is a repeatability, you can use it repeated, you can remove it and connect it. So this expanded beam connector is having single fiber, single lens, so that it can have the lens to lens misalignment problem is sorted out, and it becomes slightly simpler structure as compared to two lens structure. So it becomes simpler structure as compared to two lens structure, and it is this expanded beam connector, which is having the single beam lens, is also having around 0.7 dB loss which is introduced. So we have seen up to the expanded beam connectors, and next day we will start with the green rod connectors. Those are one more connectors. So I hope this is audible till now, because for last 4-5 minutes I observed it may not be audible. I will check it, but most of the lecture is audible today. Okay, thank you. Then I am stopping here and we will meet tomorrow. Okay.